Welcome back to my home gym where I'm going to take you through my typical push day for hypertrophy, which is basically just another way of saying building muscle as opposed to doing heavier weight, lower reps for strength. So we're going to be staying in the 10 to 15 rep range today for most of the lifts. And it's not necessarily doing higher reps that gets you the muscle or building it. It's more so time under tension of around 40 to 50 seconds. And that rep range usually ends up putting you around that amount of time. So what we're going to be doing today is starting off with a compound movement, the bench press. Just like all my other workouts, compound movements first and then accessory lifts after that. And I'm gonna have all the reps and sets down in the description so you can check that out and follow along if you wanna try out this workout. So for the bench press, you see the incline is not real high. I have it on a 20-degree incline. Most gyms, you'll find it here around 35 to 40 degrees. That just does a lot more shoulder work. And I just want a little bit more upper chest emphasis when I do this. So I'm doing 20 degrees, but a lot of programs you'll see just a flat bench press, which is totally fine. But for me, I just want to get a little more emphasis on the upper chest because that's the lagging part for me. So do what makes sense for you, but some kind of bench press movement here, whether it's barbell, dumbbell, whatever. So the way we're going to be doing this is making sure we get good warm-ups. And speaking of warm-up, I really suggest you do some kind of 10-minute warm-up to get your body ready to go instead of just jumping right into the lifts. When I'm in a gym, I like to do an elliptical because that's moving your arms and your legs. Everything gets warmed up and you'll prevent injury a lot better that way. But at home, I don't have that. So I usually just end up going on a walk and kind of stretching my arms around, doing that kind of stuff, getting ready for the lifts. So the way we're going to be doing this is 4 sets. The first 2 are going to be warm-up ones. So whatever your top set is going to be, which I look at as 100% effort. So you're going to failure where you're failing between 10 and 12 reps. So that's not your 1 rep max number, but the number that you'll be failing between 10 and 12 reps. I take half of that and that's my warm-up weight. So 195 is gonna be my top set today. So I'm starting off with 95 pounds and that is about 50% of that weight and I'm gonna do 15 reps. Now here, I'm not just blasting through the reps. I see a lot of people just get there and do them really fast. The whole point of this is to use the exercise to warm up your muscles. So you want to make sure you're doing nice, slow, controlled reps, getting your muscles warmed up for that. Then I'll be moving up to 75% of that number. So we're going to 145 pounds and I'll be doing that for another 12 reps. And then the next set, I'll be doing my top set of 195 pounds. The goal is to hit 10 to 12 reps and fail between that number. And then after that, I drop the weight 10% from that number. So I take 20 pounds off, going to 175, and then once again, going to failure, shooting for that same 10 to 12 rep range. Because ideally, if you are going all the way to failure, the next set, you're not gonna be able to lift the same amount of weight again because you fatigue your muscles already. So I drop a little bit of weight, then try to hit that number again before moving on to the next exercise. Just remember, form is one of the most important things here and with all the exercises to make sure you're properly engaging the muscles. I have another video on bench pressing you can check out that shows you techniques to make sure you're getting the most out of your chest and not using your shoulders, making sure your shoulder blades are back so you're engaging your chest as much as possible. Just make sure your form is consistent throughout all of your sets. And as far as form goes, you might notice I'm not touching the bar to my chest because I've had many shoulder injuries, dislocated my shoulders. And when I go past maybe a fist width above my chest, it really starts hurting my shoulders because you're using them a lot more. So go to where it's comfortable for you, where you're still getting a good stretch and still working it well. But you want to avoid injury because I hurt a shoulder, then I'm not going to be doing this for a couple weeks. So do what makes sense. Don't ego lift, choose weights you can control throughout your entire movement. So now we're moving on to the top set with 195. And as far as rest goes, I don't really have a certain amount of time you have to rest between sets. Maybe like up to 3 minutes is really all I need for most sets when going all out. If you need less time, that's fine. But if you feel like you're tired and need more time, then take some more time so you can give all your effort into it if you're going all out to failure so you get the most out of your set. So on my top set, I only got 10 reps. The goal is to fail between 10 and 12. So I'm gonna stay on that weight for my next workouts until I get to 12 reps. And then once I hit that on the following workout, I'll increase the weight and try to hit that minimum of 10 reps again. And that's the easiest way to progressive overload. You have a rep range. Once you hit the top of that, you add some weight, and then you just keep progressing like that. And progressing, tracking your workouts is the best way to see progress. So now we drop the weight down to 175 and shooting to fail again between those same numbers. So next up we have the flat bench press, and you don't have to do another bench pressing movement. Like if you're at a gym, you have some kind of chest press machine you like to use, then go with that. But for me, I'm a little bit more limited here in my home gym. So I go from the incline to the flat, and the idea with this is because I'm already tired from doing the incline, I'd go with the same weights for the flat because flat's easier than the incline, and see if I can hit those same numbers. But before we do those top sets, once again, I'm gonna do one warm-up set here with 135, 12 reps here, and that's just because it's a different angle for me. I like to get a little bit lighter weight to warm up in that plane of movement again, just so I'm ready to go and not just throw the heavy weights on and then risk some kind of injury. So we're gonna start out flat barbell bench press, 12 reps for warm-up, and then we'll move to those top sets again. Now we got 195 on there doing the top set for the bench press here, and then we'll be dropping the weight again for the next set, 10% like we did before, shooting for that same 10 to 12 reps on the flat. Woo! So got 11 reps on that one, which is better than I did last time. Now dropping the weight to 175, once again, a 10% decrease, and then going to failure once again. And if you get 12 reps and you feel like you have more, keep going to failure. This is the last set of chest pressing, so bench press, whatever kind you're doing. So push it all the way out to failure with good form. You don't want to start arching your back and getting all crazy. Good form. If your form starts to break down, then that's a good indication that you're done because you don't want to get an injury. So next thing we're moving on to is the overhead press. I'm doing this with the barbell. You can do dumbbells if you like. I've actually dislocated a shoulder doing dumbbells before because my joints are messed up, and when it was getting hard, my arm came out and my shoulder dropped out of socket. So when I do barbells, my arms can't get out of plane because they're stuck to the barbell. That's the only type of overhead pressing I'll do. I do it seated. You can do standing overhead presses if you want, but for me, I've noticed when it starts getting difficult towards the end, I'll start arching my back trying to get it up, and I already have some lower back issues. And when I'm seated, that keeps that from happening because my back can't go anywhere. I'm stuck in position. So do what's comfortable for you. Although the one thing I do like about standing overhead presses is when you do get to failure, you can't do anymore, you can do a push press and get it up there and then do a slow negative, and you still get a lot of work in from doing that. But that's more so, I would only do that on a last set rather than on each set because that's pushing past failure. So gonna start out, I have 70 pounds here and I'm doing 15 reps. This is a warm up, then we'll be doing 3 more sets after that. So now the rep scheme for the rest of these next 3 sets is a little different from what we've done before. We're gonna stay with the same weight. I moved up to 105 for the overhead press. In the first set, shooting between 12 and 15 reps to failure. Then the next set drops down to 11 to 15 and then 10 to 15 for the last one. With the idea being there, if you only get 12 on the first one, then chances are you'll only get 11. You know, you're gonna lose a rep, maybe even 2 on the next sets after that. So the goal is to do that once I hit 15 reps on the first set, as long as I get at least that, 12, 11 mark on the next 2 sets, then on my next workout, I'll bump up the weight and then shoot for those bottom ranges at least again to track that progressive overload. So see what we can get. Got 15, so get to move up on my next workout. One thing you can do, like on that last rep, really struggle to get it up. A lot of times people just drop the weight, but try to control it as slow as you can on the way back down. You're still gonna get a lot more out of your muscles. That'll help you to work them even more. So now we're done with the main compound movements. We're gonna move on to a couple supersets for some accessory work for the shoulders, triceps, and the chest. And the first superset is going to be chest flies, and then we're gonna be doing reverse flies. Now, I prefer to do some kind of cable flies or maybe a pec deck if you have that in your gym, because you get constant tension on the muscle. Whereas when you're doing dumbbells like this, most of the work is done right here, and the further up you get, you're not having to work as hard against gravity. So if you have the other options, I would go with that. And then we'll be moving from that over to here, doing a reverse fly, so bent over like this and working the rear delts. Now, I like to do chest supported because, as I said, I have some lower back issues, so I'm putting less stress on my back by supporting on here. But also, I see a lot of people start to go like this and swing the weight when it gets hard. When your chest is here, you can't do that. It keeps you from cheating. And so, unfortunately, I only have 5-pound increment dumbbells. So when I move up, it's usually harder than it should be. So I'll start to bend my elbows at first, but as I keep getting stronger, then I'll try to do it with my hand more straight. And that's just one way right there, because the further that you can make it more difficult, because the further away from your body you get, the harder the exercise gets. And when you're doing dumbbell flies, you want to be really careful as well to do a nice slow negative, pause, and bring it back up, because if you just let it fall, you risk tearing something. Injuries are bad, especially shoulder, this whole area, because that takes out a lot of exercises you can do. And I have a little bit of an incline, once again, 20 degrees on there, because I just do want to get a little more upper chest activation, so whatever you like. But my preferable way of doing this at a gym is getting on the pec deck machine, where you can do your chest flies and then you turn around the other way and use the same machine to do the opposite, because then you're not having to go from one machine to the other and risking someone else hopping in and taking the machine because they think you're done. So 3 rounds of this. The first one, we're not doing lightweight because most of the muscles are warmed up, but a heavy enough weight to where at 15 reps, you have maybe 3 to 5 reps left to go, and then we'll be doing 2 more heavier sets after that to failure. Starting out, I got 35 pounds for 15 reps. So after that first set, now increasing the weight, we're gonna stay with the same weight for the next 2 rounds. The first one to where you're failing between 12 to 15 reps, and the next one dropping that down to 10 to 15 reps. Just like we said before, if you only get 12, you probably won't get that many on the next one. So I'm using 50s now for the flies, then 30s for the bent laterals. 2 more rounds, and then we'll get on to the last superset. So now we're moving on to the last superset of the workout, and that is side lateral raises and then tricep press downs. Now, you can do alternate versions of these exercises if you have a machine for shoulders or something like that. Whatever is comfortable and whatever you like. Same for triceps. I like doing the tricep press downs. If you like doing them overhead, you want to do skull crushers, some kind of tricep exercise that you like. That's the big thing with all these, is choosing exercises that you enjoy so that you'll keep doing them. So a few things to keep in mind. You want to make sure you're doing light enough weight so that you're not swinging, doing this kind of stuff, get the weight up. You want to control it up, try to pause, and let it down smoothly. And then the same with the tricep extensions. If you find yourself going like this, pushing the weight down, well then it's too much weight. Lighten the weight so you can get in position and you're only moving your arms like this and really isolating the triceps. The goal here is to really get a good pump on those muscles to work them. And if you have too much weight where you're using your other muscles to get the weight down, then it's counterintuitive. It's not going to be doing as much for you. So a lot of times, they're counterproductive. My wife's making faces like, he said the wrong word. Anyways, the same rep scheme as before. So the first set, we're gonna be doing 15 reps on each of these. I'm doing the shoulders first, then the triceps with the weight that you can maybe do, another 5 reps or so afterwards. And then we're gonna be doing 2 more sets. Once again, 12 to 15 reps to failure, then the same weight, 10 to 15 reps to failure, and that will be the end of the workout. So I'm starting with 20 pounds for the side laterals. So that is it for my push day for hypertrophy. That's chest, shoulders, and triceps. So the most important thing out of all this, whether you do this or any other program, is to track your progress. As you see here, I've got my push, pull, and leg day. And the whole point of that is so when I go to the gym, I have something to shoot for so that I can progressively overload, or otherwise pushing harder than you did before, so that you're always improving. I see a lot of guys go to the gym and they go in consistently for one, but the other thing is they just go in and say, oh, I'll do that today or that, and don't have anything to really shoot for. Whereas this, I knew, okay, I want to get one more rep than last time, or I'm going to add a little bit more weight than last time, and that's how you make progress. And it's really cool because you can look back and see, like a year ago, on those overhead presses, 70 pounds was my top set, and I was struggling to get 12 to 15 reps on that. And then today, that's my warm-up set, and it's easy. So that's also really motivating, so that you can see if you're plateaued, you can look back, say, oh, 6 months ago or a year ago, I was only doing this much. Look how far I've come. So hope you like that. Let me know down in the comments if you try it out or what your program is like. Hit that like button if this was helpful. Check out Instagram at Camber Fitness. Subscribe if you're new. We got more videos like this coming, and I'll see you soon.